Hey fam! So welcome to another Motivational Monday video, and for today's video, I will be talking about not being quick to judge or not being quick to judge, or like also being careful with what you do and say to people, or in the common term, don't judge a book by its cover. Okay, so reason why I chose this topic for this week is because last Thursday, I had a meeting with my committee members, the Lazaro 1 committee. Okay, so that meeting was basically because I wanted to have a game night with them. So it's just like a bonding and a kind of releasing of stress kind of meeting that I set. But before we started playing games, I wanted to make sure that everyone was gonna enjoy. So at the start of the meeting, I asked them this question. I asked them, how is your heart? And then I wanted them to release everything that they were feeling and everything that they were keeping inside, so that when we play games, they would really enjoy it because they were able to release everything that they were feeling. And oh my gosh, I was so overwhelmed. They shared really personal things that things got very emotional between us. And the way I looked at my members changed a lot, but like I mean that in a good way. Especially one of my members who's like, okay, I have this member who we always like to tease him and I don't know, like tease him, fight him in a way. Basically, parang asaran body namin siya. And he always seemed like that person who was happy, who had everything together. Basically, it's like he had a good life, a close to perfect life, basically. That's how we saw him, or that's how I saw him at least. But after hearing his sharing last week, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so guilty because yun nga, lagi ko siyang inaasar. I always pick on him. So yeah, that really got me. And after I heard this his story, like yeah, like that guilt really got to me. I'm really like trying to treat him better because, okay, here's the thing. It's not that he's a bad person. He's really not. He's like one of the nicest people I know. But then since our relationship was basically built from teasing and, you know, just playful bullying and stuff, it really kind of got to me already how whenever I see him, I always have to act like naiinis ako sa presence niya. Like, ayoko yung presence niya. I'm just like, whenever I see him walk in the office, I'm just like, oh, like, you know, I do that automatically. But that's just to tease him. I actually like having my members around. So it's just really different with him because our relationship was all about teasing and playful bullying. So after hearing his story, like like, you know, it was like a wake-up call for me, like, hey, like, you really have to treat this person better. I mean, I know probably me teasing him makes him happy and all, but it gave me a realization that, hey, probably this person needs a friend sometimes. Probably this person also needs to be checked on from time to time. So maybe you should also think of people in your life who are probably like that also, and maybe just make an effort also to assure them and reach out to them and say, hey, if you need a friend, I'm here for you. And I have this other member who seems like the girl who's always energetic, who's always so happy, who's so positive in life. And then I learned from her sharing that she's actually battling a lot of things at home and in her daily life. So after the meeting, like after that day, oh my gosh, like it really made me reflect on how I would treat them and other people in general. I'm not saying that I treat them badly, and I also don't want to say that I judge them, because I don't really consider it judging, or maybe because I just have a different definition when you say judging, but more of like I gave, like I planted like an impression in my head that they're like this and they're like that, and then but then I didn't even get the time to really get to know them, and that's one of the things I regret. But I know it's not too late for me to start doing that, because I realized that just because someone is always smiling, someone is always happy, I mean someone always looks happy, it doesn't mean that's how they really feel. I know for us humans, it's very normal for us to mask how we feel, because even I do that sometimes. Well, I do that a lot. But maybe like what I really picked up is you shouldn't create an like a permanent impression of people in your head when you didn't really get the time, when you didn't really make the time to get to know who they really are. So for me, like it was an eye-opener, because you know, like as I said earlier, I'd always tease this member of mine, or like fake bully him, and you know, like he always seemed fine, he'd always laugh at it and stuff, but I didn't realize that he was actually going through something really serious. And for me, that really made me feel guilty, because yeah, because I'm basically his team leader, and I didn't show that I was really concerned for him. But I was happy that during that day I was somehow able to make it up to him, and I told him that that I was just always here for him, even if you know, like even if I tease him or bully him a lot, I'm still his friend. And that's just how our relationship is. Like me and this member of mine, that's how our relationship is. Asaran lang talaga siya. But then that day I was able to reassure him that, hey, like, you know, if you need someone, I'm just here for you. And same goes for that other member of mine, who I've gotten really close to also, actually. But despite getting close to her, I never really got to ask her like how she is, and you know, if everything's fine back at home. So for me, like, it's really important that you make a conscious effort to be mindful of how you treat people, because you'll never know if they're really okay or if they're fighting a serious battle. You'll never really know that. So it's very important to always be kind and be conscious on how you treat people, what you say to them. And also, it's important that you be sensitive to those around you. Try to see and even maybe feel, if you know, if you think you have a strong instinct, like try to see and feel if people around you or your friends are really doing fine, or never hesitate to check on those people, especially if they're usually the strong ones, because the strong ones, usually they're the one who really needs help the most. So there. Okay, I went to mass, and the gospel was about when Jesus said, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. So I'm gonna turn it around now. Like, what if you're the one in that receiving end? Like, if you're the one being judged, if you're the one who's being looked down on, or you know, anything like that. If you're in that situation, never fight fire with fire. That's never a solution, and that's never the way to go. So yes, it said in that verse, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you. When people fight you, when people judge you, the best thing you can do is pray for them. Basta wag niyo silang patulan. As in, don't stoop down to their level because that's just gonna make things worse. You're strong when you know what to listen to. You're strong when you know what's right from wrong. You're strong when you know what to like let go of. Like sometimes you have to know what things you should like go in the other ear and let out in the other side. So it's all about like knowing what's the best solution. Like if people judge you, let them. If they say bad things about you, let them. Just ignore it, especially if you know that it's not true. And if what they say has truth to it, that's probably a wake-up call for you that you have to change. I have to be honest and say that that is really challenging, to love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you, to be kind even when you're not treated well. It's really a challenge, but listen to me and trust me when I say that it's a challenge worth taking. Because in the times nowadays, the world needs more kinder and understanding, patient people. So I encourage you to take on that challenge, and let's do our part and start in our own little ways in making this world a better place.